Welcome along to another episode of Mildly Informed with me, Richie Firth, and him, Chris Skinner. Chris, how are you?
I'm excellent, Rich. I've never, ever been better. I feel like the world is full of opportunity and wonder.
Always suspicious when you're feeling like that.
Richie, have you had a nice week?
Yes, I have. It's been my birthday this week, and we'll touch on that in time to come. Because believe it or not, in this episode of Mildly Informed, where Chris and I attempt to inform you in a mild fashion about what's going on in the world as we review our weeks, I will touch upon another year of my life passing by.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And I think just at this stage as well, we should remind people that we have a Patreon. Every single week on the Patreon, we post extra content that we don't put in the show. Last week's one was quite a lot of fun. I think we fell out a little bit. And I think there's going to be some afters for it in weeks to come. But people will only be able to see and hear it if they go to the Mildly Informed Patreon page. Rich, I can't wait for part 2 of that conversation. It's building beautifully.
If it never happens, I'll be happy about it. Chris, let me tell you about something that has happened to me this week.
Rich, I'd love you to tell me something about what happened to you this week. What is it?
Do you miss the Queen and Prince Philip?
Well, oh my gosh, what a question. For the sake of appearing to be politically neutral, I'm going to say I missed Prince Philip in the tabloid headlines. And I am going to leave it at that.
Fair enough. Okay. More questions than answers. I saw something this week that reminded me of the two of them. I saw a Royal Warrant on the side of a van. Now, I know there are some people listening that might not know what a Royal Warrant is.
Including me.
You don't know what a Royal Warrant is?
Is it like where Prince Charles can go and arrest someone because he's king?
No. I'm really surprised. So this is the ability for members of the royal family to give their coat of arms, their crest, their royal warrant to a business. And that happens when that particular business has provided a service to that royal family. And it's their endorsement. It's them saying, hey, we use these guys. They're really, really good. And so that company gets a royal warrant.
I get it. I've seen the crests on things now, products and the likes. Yes.
Correct. Now, obviously, the Queen died a couple of years ago now, Queen Elizabeth II, God rest her soul. But there are still companies that are out and about that have got her royal warrant on the side of their vans or on their lettering or on their merchandise and that kind of thing. And I saw one of those this week.
So once the Queen is gone, Elizabeth in that case, does the Royal Warrant stop being a thing?
I don't think it does, because it still stands for the values that Her Majesty the Queen used this company. And because she's only sort of 2 years gone, I think it's fine if that company's still running in business to be kind of like, oh, wow, they used her.
Right.
No, other way around, actually. She used them.
I mean, I don't know how these warrants are issued, but sure.
So let me give you the specific example of what I saw, because it blew my mind. I was doing the school run and I walked past a Howden's van. Howden's, the kitchen installers.
Right.
Okay. Howden's Joinery. They specialise in fitting kitchens.
And they have a Queen's Royal Warrant.
On the side of their van was Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's Royal Warrant on the side of that van. Okay, so let's just suspend belief for 1 second. And this is what made me smile about it. For that to have happened, this conversation would have happened. The Queen and Prince Philip are in their kitchen. Now, whether that is in Windsor Castle, Balmoral, or Buckingham Palace is a moot point. But the conversation would have happened. Philip, I'm fed up with this kitchen. It's tired. Oh, Liz, love, what's wrong with it? I really like it. I don't like these cupboard doors anymore, and we really need a new dishwasher. Plus, I fancy an island. Oh, Liz, love, get over it. You're queen. No, I want a new kitchen. Where shall we go? Let's go to Howden's. I've heard they're good. And then someone's had to come over, measure up, give the Queen and Prince Philip some plans for a renovated kitchen, then had it done. Then they love their new island and sunken sink and all that kind of stuff. And the Queen is so pleased with it, she's gone, do you know what? Have my crest on the side of your van. And I love that.
I, at this moment, would like to express my sympathy for Wren and Wicks and everyone else who didn't even get to quote for this. I mean, that is, they missed out on more than just the business. They missed out on the royal stamp of approval.
But Chris, like, I've abbreviated the story, but there's every chance you have to go with the full belief that the Queen and Philip did on, maybe one weekend or alternate weekends, they went to a Wick showroom. They went to a Wren showroom.
Yeah.
They went to Howden's and they decided after 3 weeks of weekend activity, we're going to go with Howden's.
Now, as I think you might know, I'm not Mr. DIY. I'm not really good around anything around the home. I have no idea as to whether Howden's are a premium brand or not. Can you imagine the content of Howden's? Suspending disbelief that the Queen and Prince Philip would pop into their showroom anyway, is the Howden's stock something that you can imagine there being at Balmoral, Buckhouse, Windsor Castle?
You don't have to imagine it. That's the whole point of a Royal Warrant. It's on the side of it.
So it's not smoke and mirrors. It definitely happened.
Correct. I've got a feeling, and I'm off the top of my head right now, that Prince Charles, actually, no, he's king now, isn't he? He's been upgraded.
Yes.
He's got his royal warrant on Bendix chocolates, I think. So
that's cheeky. That's what you do, isn't it? You get all the good stuff, you stick your royal warrant on it, and I bet you never have to pay for it ever again.
Exactly, because they want to keep it. It's either Bendix or green and blacks. It's one of the two.
I'd definitely do green and blacks. If he's got half a brain inside him, he'd go green and black.
It's one of the two. I do know for a fact that the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, whilst he was alive, did have Sky Sports fitted because he wanted because
he knew what he was doing.
He had it for the horse racing. Honestly, I spoke to an engineer who had gone round to Windsor Castle to fit the Duke of Edinburgh's Sky dish so he could watch at the races. I promise you. Now, whether that has meant that Sky, as a result, had the Duke of Edinburgh's Royal Warrant back in the day, I don't know. But I love it.
I've just done some Googling, Rich. It's more than just popping into the showroom once and buying a couple of cupboards. You must have supplied the royal household for at least 5 of the past 7 years. So
that blows my mind because that's interesting. Because if that's the case, that must mean they've had 2 kitchen refits in the last 5 years.
Mate, they've got a lot of houses. That's very believable.
That's true. So here's what's happened. They've had Buckhouse done by Howden's. 4 years later, they think, these kitchen doors have still got a good lot of give on them. Let's get them to do Windsor Castle.
Yeah.
And let's get the Aberdeen branch to come in and do Balmoral. That's how Howden's got their royal warrant.
Yeah, I think it's entirely plausible. And I'm trying to work out if I like this or don't like it. I mean, I don't think I like it. I'm thinking about it. I don't like it.
If we're going to pay our taxes to support a royal family, we might as well know what they are. The royal family are nothing more than an elevated version of Witch, because we're paying our taxes to support their lifestyle, and in exchange, by having royal warrants, they're telling us who and what have given them good customer service. I think royal warrants are a great idea, and I give them 5 stars.
Okay. I completely go along with that. I'm going to review the concept of royal warrants, and I don't like it. 2 stars.
You got to give me a reason as to why you don't like it. You can't just issue 2 stars.
I think just on the whim of some really influential people who probably got some kind of hooky deal, some business gets unfair industry advantage over others. I would like to see more transparency. I'm all up for Howdens or anyone else getting some kind of award, like the Ideal Home Kitchen Awards, which I know Howdens also won in 2023. But that I can imagine was judged by a panel of experts. I would like to see the Queen and Prince Philip's review, which says Howdens provided us excellent. Terry arrived on time every day. The skip arrived, was only here for 2 hours, so they didn't have to pay the fees. And I found it a thoroughly excellent experience. I didn't even have to make him a cup of tea every morning. Then I'm on board.
A royal testimonial. Chris, what's been on your mind this week?
Rich, I think something very close to both of our hearts. I've been thinking a lot about food.
What food have you been thinking about?
Rich, have you ever heard of a product, a condiment called Laoganma chili crisp?
I think you know the answer to that. No, I've not.
Oh, Rich, strap in. Laoganma chili crisp is the greatest. In fact, it is the OG of condiments. I am convinced now. I've done them all. I've done every condiment you can do. And when I say OG, by the way, the G stands for godmother because I believe in the dialect of Chinese, Laoganma means godmother.
Right.
So it is a jar. It costs less than £3. You can buy it from pretty much every Chinese supermarket. You can buy it from some other mainstream supermarkets as well. It is increasingly becoming a true icon of global chili-based food love. It elevates pretty much every meal I eat, Rich. So, am I going to have it with scrambled eggs? Oh, yes, I am. Am I going to have it with an omelette? Yes. Am I going to have it with a curry? Am I going to have it with a Chinese meal? Am I going to spread it into a sandwich? Would I put it on the side of a chicken pie? 100%. It goes with everything.
Rapid fire questions. When I think
Yeah.
about my use of condiments, would you be able to dip a chip in it?
Yeah, oh my God, it'd blow your mind, but yes.
Would you be able to dip your pizza crust in it?
Oh, it'd be the best. It is made for pizza. You've got to like chili, Rich. You've got to like chili. But let me. It is not though. It is not like. It's not like a burning bird's eye chili. It's a hot but still spoonable chili. It's in terms of temperature. It's more sriracha than eye melter.
Now that's interesting because sriracha does get cut a little bit these days with mayonnaise
Mm.
to bring. See, you're not a fan of that.
Right. Okay. I don't mind it. I mean, look, here's the problem. Like mayonnaise is fine. It's creamy. I look at the ingredients list on a packaged mayonnaise, and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of letters and numbers next to each other here that I don't totally get. I find ketchup too sweet. I find sriracha a bit like 2022's calling me and trying to tell me it's cool. It's like yeah, the world is ready for a new hip dip, and it is Laoganma.
Is it a sweet type of chili?
No, it is. It is. Okay. Are you aware of umami?
Yes.
So it is a kind of chili umami. It's kind of it's like chili mixed with like a bean oil, like soybean oil, and it has this kind of like nourishing. It's hard to say anything more than like it's got a salty, chili, nourishing, feel good flavor about it. Like I kind of just feel like really enlivened. Like I'm like, yes,
Could I dip halloumi in it? Grilled halloumi.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I would say like a halloumi sandwich, a halloumi alongside falafel and a whole other, like a bowl of stuff. Pour that on. Maybe like you said, like sriracha gets mixed with mayo. I love to mix Laoganma with hummus. It's like they are natural bedfellows. Take China, take the Middle East and Greece, stick them together.
If you were to speculate
Mhm.
which member of the royal family would
Oh,
have Laoganma as a condiment, who would it be?
it's a great question. Who's going to be issuing that royal warrant? It's going to be Harry. He looks like the only one who could handle spice.
I'm not sure whether in all of the stripping back and high court cases he's had recently, whether he's allowed to issue royal warrants.
I'm
That's
sorry,
another
I want
matter.
a Harry Royal warrant. If you want me to buy, if you want me to upgrade that 2-star to a 3, I want a Harry warrant.
Well, here's a tricky one for me. I want to be able to award a star to Laoganma, but I've never tried it. But I believe in the next week that passes by between episodes, I will go and find it in a Chinese supermarket. I think I'll have to find a Chinese supermarket, first of all, in Hertfordshire. But once I've found the Laoganma, I will review it for you next week. A bonus
We are seeing
review.
each other in just over a week's time, Rich. If we actually are vaguely organised, I will bring you a jar.
Wow,
Because,
fantastic.
like with the Star Bars, I have a similar attitude to I do with the Star Bars. I don't buy one at a time because I'm always worried that for whatever reason something might go wrong with this thing that I love so much. I always buy 2 jars at a time,
Okay, fair enough. How
and
many
it takes
stars
me
are
a
you
month to
awarding
get through a jar.
Laoganma?
5 stars, just 5 stars, 5 stars,
Okay.
5 stars, 5 stars, no doubt. Like Laoganma, yeah, Rich is it's a hot guy with stubble. It is a woman who can bench 250. It is the vision of yourself that you've always wanted to be. It is just when you eat it, yeah, and if anyone else listening or watching this, when they eat it for the first time, my pleasure.
How about you buy it for me as a birthday present? Because I want to talk to you about birthdays.
I promise to buy it for you as a birthday present, but only if you remind me in the week.
Well, my birthday was yesterday.
I know, but to actually bring the present, I'm going to need reminding, Rich, because you and I share similar levels of organised skills here. You said you wanted to talk to me about your birthday.
Yeah.
What is it about your birthday you want to discuss with me?
Chris, I want to review birthdays as a whole, and I want to ask
Oh,
a question. What year of your life do you think it is that birthdays actually become pretty rubbish?
mm. Well, I have a birthday next week. Um, I have to say, with the exception of 1 or 2 birthdays during the lockdown era, I haven't fallen out of love with birthdays. I remain an enthusiast, not just for my own, but for my peers. So I am excited to give you a present in a week or two's time and face to face see you and wish you happy birthday. However, I'm interested here because I've got a feeling you're asking this question because maybe you've lost some of the love.
Yesterday was my birthday, and a lot of people wish me happy birthday. Close family obviously wish happy birthday and give gifts, and that's lovely. And we spend some quality time together. But it's the maybe I don't know whether it's the concept of birthdays or it's the concept of aging. I don't know. But there were moments yesterday where I kind of thought to myself, oh man, this isn't what it used to be. I was walking to the high street with my wife. I've always liked trains, as you know,
Yes.
and crossed over the level crossing. It was a beautiful day, and I'm mindful of the fact it's my birthday. And I said to her, I said, "Do you think I will still, at some time in my life, change careers and be able to become a train driver, or am I now getting too old?" And she was like, she didn't even have to think. She was like, "I don't think so any longer." She said, "You're getting too old." She said, "You'd have to train for a year, so the starting salary wouldn't be necessarily good enough. It would affect our lives. Plus, your eyesight's probably not good enough to be a train driver these days." So, within a second, boom, that dream was crushed.
I mean, I don't know what the entrance criteria are to train driver school. If she's right about that, Rich, I've got to say that must have been on your birthday a crushing blow, and my heart goes out to you.
And
Um,
then the blow got worse because she went for a gut punch because she could see the disappointment come
yeah,
onto my face, and she was like, but she goes, "But don't worry," she says, "as you are now getting older, maybe you are now of the age where you can go and volunteer at the local garden centre because they've got a miniature railway there." Now, that to me is someone saying, as you're getting older, you're becoming more of a pain to be around. I want you out of the house at weekends. And
Okay,
then all of a sudden, I am that husband that it's like when you're trying to meet up with friends, it's like, oh no, can't this weekend because he's volunteering at the Steam Railway, isn't he?
you say that like it's a bad thing, Rich. I say this with a lot of love for you. I've always seen that as your future, and I don't think Natalie would necessarily have any beef with that being your future. I think you called it a gut punch from her. I think I think she was down the right path. The only thing I think she got wrong was it wouldn't be like a miniature railway for you. It would be like the Epping Ongar line. I think you'd be on the big boy
Oh,
trains.
that'd be
I think that's the
amazing.
I think you will be volunteering there, Rich, within the next 10 years. 100%.
But there has to be something about birthdays that I think we need to realize there ain't no good anymore because then she starts talking
God.
about it. Now, my wife is younger than I am, and she said to me, she said, but stop being down about turning 48 because you're not old. She said, because I don't want you to say that you're old at 48. Because she said, when I become 48 in 7 years' time, then I don't want to suddenly realize that you're thinking that I'm now old because I want to still feel young.
Yeah.
So she's already worrying about a birthday that is in 7 years' time. I've got another friend who shares the same birthday as I am. Now, she's a little bit younger than me. And when we were exchanging birthday greetings yesterday, she was moaning about hers because she was celebrating in a harvester.
Okay, that is, to be honest, pretty sad. My heart goes out to her. Don't get me wrong, the free salad bar still rocks, but it's not where I'm going to be on my birthday.
Point being, Chris, when you're 18, birthdays, they're 5 stars. But I
Mhm.
think when you turn 48, those 5 stars don't burn so bright anymore. And I think at best, birthdays are 3 stars.
Oh, can I give you a bit of a pep talk?
Yes.
You might have covered this on previous programs you've made. It's reasonably well reported that the unhappiest age people are is 47 years old. In fact,
Is it really?
for men, it's 47.2 years old on average. So the malaise that you are feeling in midlife about a birthday, the fact that you're giving it mid stars, 3 stars, yeah, makes me think that it's not the birthday that's the problem, but it's actually the fact that it's signifying the most, I guess, complicated part of your life where you are finally questioning maybe those dreams of doing something else might not happen. And I would speculate that in years ahead, you will start to feel more comfortable in your own skin with the decisions that you have made. I think 3 stars is the lowest you're going to give it. And I reckon in 10 years' time, it'll be, I'm not saying it'll be back up to 5. I'm not saying it's going to be anything like the joys of an 18th birthday, yeah? But it might, I think, make 3.5, 4.
So you're telling me that in 10 years' time, some of the new friends that I've made at the Epping to Ongar Railway are going to throw
Yep.
me an amazing 58th birthday and we'll be reviewing the award of the stars
Yeah.
in that
And
time.
you won't care that you're no longer doing like a shift for Avanti West Coast because you're quite happy polishing that old diesel.
Is that a euphemism?
Um, it's the most technical language I could think of.
What are you giving birthdays?
Yeah, I remain an enthusiast for them, and I get that they're not what they used to be, but I'm going one higher than you. I'm definitely saying 4.
Chris, what else have you been occupying your mind with this week?
Rich, thank you for asking. Can we talk a little bit about TV?
Of course we can. What TV have you been watching?
So I've been watching The Studio, which is an excellent Seth Rogen comedy on Apple TV about a guy who dreams of becoming this big sort of movie exec and gets his wish, and it's not necessarily panning out how he expected. It's great. It's like a Seth Rogen masterpiece. You know, he's involved in the production, the writing of it. He's a star of it. The cast list is absolutely incredible. The cameos are amazing. Episode 1, like there's cameos from uh, Martin Scorsese, Charlize Theron, a whole bunch of other brilliant people, which continues throughout the series. However, it's got me thinking. There's some type of comedies that I don't get me wrong, I know are undeniably brilliant shows. And I will include shows like The Office in this. Which undeniably US and UK versions and Australian version, all wonderful. Um, Colin from Accounts, one of my favourite comedies of the
Oh,
last couple of
brilliant.
years. Motherhood, equally so. However, some types of comedy you can just chill out to. And I've just been thinking about there are shows like this one where when I get to the end of it, I don't feel relaxed. I feel quite anxious when I get to the end of shows like that. That like kind of cringe, social discomfort, secondhand embarrassment, that kind of awkwardness that you see being played. Maybe I've put myself in those situations in life too many times that it rings just a little bit too true. I'm like, I just sometimes wonder if I need comedy that like makes me less stressed. Am I wrong here, Rich? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I understand where you're coming from. I do understand where you're coming from. You've mentioned some programs that I love as well. I think Colin from
I do
Accounts.
like them all. This is the problem. Like, I don't want to say I don't like them. I do like them. Sorry.
Colin from Accounts, fantastic. And if
Yep.
if we're using that as a reference point, I believe that entertainment is all about provoking a reaction with with the viewer, with the listener. And obviously, most of the time with entertainment, I'd say maybe 95% of the time, you want to make them laugh because if someone wants to be entertained, they want to feel better. But I don't think it's any bad thing that for that other 5% of the time, the reaction is actually one that isn't all out laughter and is actually suspense, tension, actually upset and making someone cry. Because I think it's a demonstration of how invested in the situation you are. You need to be invested in that show for you to laugh. Because actually, if you're not laughing and being entertained, then you're not invested in it. But at the same time, that does mean that sometimes other reactions can come. So I think if a comedy show can also make you feel awkward, I think that is an indication that it is top tier comedy.
Yeah, look, I'm not disagreeing with that. Like I agree it's really good and stuff that makes you laugh, stuff that makes you cry, feel suspense. I get that. But there are like in a lot of these shows, something happens quite early on and you're like, oh no, that's going to come back and bite them in the ass. And you spend 20 minutes of this 30-minute show going, oh no, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. He's going to look such a dick. It's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. And there's nothing you can do about it. That rock is hurtling down the mountain towards your face. And all you can do is be ready for the implant. And don't get me wrong, it's a funny rock that hits you in the face and then crushes you. But it is still a rock that hits you in the face and crushes you. And I have really mixed emotions about it because I am going to continue watching the show. I watched Amanda Land straight off the back of Motherland. I would 100% watch the next episode of Colin from Accounts, but um, but I don't know if I'm the fact that we're still talking about it now, and I think I watched the last episode of Studio like 3 or 4 days ago, and I still haven't totally relaxed from it. Something about I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person, and if listeners agree with me, I would welcome your comments. If you think I'm an idiot, fair enough. I just don't know what to do about how much they stress me out. So with that in mind, I feel that I'm in a position. This is why I want to talk to you about it. I feel that I'm at the risk of giving really high quality stuff a low starring review, and that's not right.
That says more about you than it does about what you're consuming.
Yes, but that I can live with that.
I've just finishing watching Severance on Apple TV, and every episode that I've watched of Severance, it was wanting me to try and watch the studio first of all. And I saw trailers and I thought, yeah, this looks cool. And you having said everything about it that you've said has made me want to watch it. Um,
Yes. Okay. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I would love you to tell me what you think about look, Apple TV. Yeah, they know what they're doing. They don't miss a beat. I'm
they
watching
don't.
Government Cheese as well. That's another great show. Everything
Yeah.
they do is wonderful.
I'm going to give Awkward Comedy 4 stars.
I think that's fair enough. I think I'm also, despite everything I've said, going to give it 4 stars.
I'd rather still be talking about something 4 days later than not at all, even though it didn't make me feel awkward.
Yeah, that's right. Like you say, it's art. I have been provoked.
There is more I want to talk to you about, Christopher, but I will remind people at this stage that if you visit our Patreon, there are extra reviews that you will get on there. Some of them a little bit more spicy. That's not on purpose. That's just how things have gone. You can also, if you want to see us visualized in a different way, either catch up with us on our YouTube channel or indeed we're on TikTok.
Rich, in this week's Patreon episode, I just want to give a little teaser here. I'm going to be talking about the type of parents you get at their kids' sports games.
Oh, looking forward to this. He says as an under sevens football manager.
Richie, I feel that we have time for you to tell me one more thing about your week.
Chris, I bloody love naan bread.
As in the Indian flatbread enjoyed by so many of us as one of our prime national dishes.
Correct. Yes.
What do you want to tell me about naan bread, Rich?
Chris, I've got Italian heritage, and the Italians are obviously very proud of their garlic bread, of their pizzas, and I think they think it's fantastic. But I genuinely do believe that naan bread is unparalleled.
And are you talking just a bog standard? Not, I don't mean bog standard in a derogatory way, but naan can come multi-flavored. There are many different types of naan. There are also rotis, parathas, chapatis. Give me a bit more meat on the bone here.
Obviously, your entry level naan is your plain naan, but there are so many other types, as you say. You've got your cheese naan, you've got your garlic naan, you've got your peshwari naan, and you've got your keema naan. And your keema naan at the moment is my go to naan of choice, with your spiced lamb rolled flat in it. A pocket of meat is never a bad thing, unless obviously you're a vegetarian or vegan. I love a keema naan. I've got a lot of time for a cheese naan. I've got a lot of time for a garlic naan, although I think your Italians have a little bit of an issue with that because what is a garlic naan if it's not a garlic bread? Your naan, in the first place, is probably your standard naan. That's maybe where you enter in as a child. And I think any adults that are just having plain naans have got to ask a few questions of themselves. But I think if you're a
Oh,
child starting with your Indian food, then a plain naan is fine. But their versatility, the naan bread, the ability for it to be the cuisine version of a J cloth that you can eat, to be able to clean your plate
mm.
with a naan, to mop up all of those sauces and all of the bits of rice that a fork couldn't do. My word, a naan is unparalleled.
Can I ask, do you only eat a naan bread with South Asian food, or will you go and eat a naan bread with something else?
I do only eat a naan with South Asian food. To be quite frank, generally 99% of my naan consumption is with butter chicken.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that's great. I would question the fact that the naan you only eat with Indian food might knock it down a level. Like I sometimes think you've got to mark food up for its ability to be multi-purpose. But and I also question. I actually think a plain naan, I would argue, is the adult's choice because you don't need gimmicks.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about here. I think if I was having, say, for example, a spaghetti bolognese, some spaghetti with meatballs, and I'm wanting to mop up the remaining ragu that is on the plate,
Yep.
then obviously I'd be having garlic bread, which is an Italian dish. If I was having a roast at the weekend, and there is leftover gravy on the plate, then I'd probably be having like a little roll or maybe a slice of white bread that you can then mop up. I do believe that the naan stays with your South Asian food, and there are other types of bread to mop things up with if you are eating other dishes. I'm a believer that things probably are best if they stay in their lane. Earlier in this
Right.
episode, we were talking about sriracha and mayonnaise and how you weren't a friend of cutting sriracha with mayonnaise. You wanted the two condiments to
No,
be
it's not. No,
separate.
I don't want them. No, that's not my point. My point is actually, I think they're they're fine together. It doesn't blow my head off that they are like. It's not a dream combination for me.
But
And I actually,
fine,
as I,
the word fine, by you saying, oh, they're fine together. We've been in many arguments with partners. When someone says something's fine, it isn't fine. So by saying sriracha and mayonnaise are fine together isn't a compliment. Okay, so that's why you, without realizing it, are like me, just keep things separate.
I would have sriracha on a roast dinner.
That says to me, if you need sriracha on a roast dinner, then the roast that you have been cooked, the person who cooked the roast is not a good cook.
Laura, I'm joking. It's always me who cooks the roast. Um, can I tell you about something I eat at Whitecross Street Market, which is near where I work in London? Um, they have a device called the Roti King. It's like a rotating bread oven. Even though it says it's a Roti King, it's a naan bread. They put in, they have the dough, they put it in, it spins round in it and comes round one full circle, and it's a fully cooked naan. They then add chicken tikka, sauce, a load of salad, bits and bobs. Sometimes they even crush up onion bhajis into it, and they do you a chicken tikka bhaji naan wrap. And it is, I mean, okay, I can't do any work after I've eaten it because I'm borderline coma. But what a wonderful experience it is.
Is that a chain that I've not heard of, a Roti King, or is that the crucible of what could be a fantastic food franchise?
So the Roti King, I believe, is actually just the type of oven that they use to do the bread like that.
I
It
see.
is. It is a market stall. It's an independent stall. If they had one of those in every high street in the country, they'd be billionaires.
Chris, at this stage, I think what we need to do is twofold. We review Narns, we then jump onto our Patreon and do the extra review, and then we form a patent for a new franchise restaurant, um, name to be decided, and
Yeah,
we need to populate Roti Kings across the UK. This is how we make our millions.
I'm in.
5 stars for the naan, Christopher.
5 stars for the naan.
Jump onto Patreon. Become a Patreon if you want extra reviews. If you want to be even more mildly informed than what you get on the traditional Mildly Informed podcast, Patreon is the place to go. YouTube is a place to go if you wish to consume Mildly Informed in a visual form as well. And you can catch up on some bite-sized chunks on our TikTok channel and engage with us. Comment, tell us what geniuses or idiots that you truly think we are. We will see you next week for another episode of Mildly Informed. I feel mildly informed. I hope you do too.
All right.